Welcome back. Thank you for being here in this video. Number 3. Thank you for sticking around, tuning back in. I appreciate you. I'm thankful to have you as a viewer, and I hope that good things stick from this video. I hope that we can have good conversation. There's a lot to unpack this week. I definitely gave it a little more thought to this quote than the previous ones because I want to illustrate with examples. I want to paint a picture so it's more understandable and digestible. I appreciate you being here. Again, I am really grateful for that. Perfect. Well, let's jump right back in. Quote number 3 says, "People lean on things, ideas, and those popular earthly social systems." People lean on things, ideas, and those popular earthly social systems. Okay, what does this quote exactly mean? We have all heard the saying, "You are a product of your environment." Our environment shapes how we think, react, and understand the world. The problem is that it can also limit what we believe it's possible. And this goes in hand with the previous quotes we've discussed, but I wanted to dive a little deeper regarding this one. And this is how society limits original thinking. People naturally lean towards the ideas, habits, and social systems they already know. We often follow the same trends, beliefs, and behaviors as the people around us. Some innovations may never happen because people are afraid to think differently or challenge what is considered normal. So this can also be subconscious. You might really just not being able to think out of the box because your environment is only giving you what you have, but also societal norms will make you be confined in your box because then you will get judged. If you act different, you'll get judged. If you come with an innovation, you'll get judged. If you start making more money, you'll get judged. If you start getting in shape, you'll get judged. If you start drawing, you'll get judged. There's always a way that you will get judged by those around you. And that, whether that comes to a very primitive behavior, ultimately it is up to us to own that and not judge our neighbor, but also not allow to be judged, or at least ignore it. Because everyone is thinking in similar ways, new ideas may never be explored. Some innovations may never happen because people are afraid to think differently or challenge what is considered normal. It is tough to be different. Okay, I can tell you firsthand, more than enough times I feel isolated because I just feel like I don't fit with society, with my friends. I mean, I have friends that are good, but I can't really go in a deep level because they just have totally different interests, and I have like a group of peers, just co-workers for example, and they all behave a certain way and I just feel isolated. I don't necessarily feel like I'm better at all. I'm not saying, oh, this is the guy that's, all unique and different. It's tough because it isolates you. It makes you feel like you don't belong. I feel that way, and many of you guys here will feel that way too. And that's a sign that we are breaking through our original thinking. We're breaking through the usual ways how people think. We want to innovate. We want to look for something different, for something better. And there's this saying, People want to see you do good, but not better than them. And it is so true. It applies so much for this quote because there's been countless times, including you that are watching this can relate. You are at work and you do your best, and people start talking trash on you because you're doing your best, because you're on time, because you communicate, because, oh, here he comes, to try and steal our position, or here he comes to try and, I don't know, belittle us, to try and make us feel like we're doing less. And that's where feeling like you don't fit also can come from. I do feel sometimes like I don't belong in many places, and it's tough because over a long period of time you start wondering, like, am I belonging here? Should I move states? Should I move companies? Should I move friends? Should I abandon this? And I mean, of course it's tough because you can't just do that. It doesn't happen in a whim. You have to really put thought into it, and some places are better not to be in, and some places are better to stick around and to grow and to learn and to adapt as well. But that's where I'm coming from. When you go to do this test, okay, in your friend group at work, and I know that this will work for you because you're here watching this video. Otherwise, that means that you're probably not interested in innovating. You're probably not interested in something better for you. You're probably not even thinking about something better for you, but you're here, therefore you are. And I'm grateful for that, and I admire that, by the way. But do this experiment. If you have a girlfriend, invite some friends, not like super close friends. Just try and befriend someone on a double date. And if you are like me, when you are then in the social setting that you will be in, you will see how some people's interests are just not like yours, and you will feel the tension to reject that. You will feel the tension to say, well, I'm not interested really, I'm not interested in watching baseball, which, by the way, nothing wrong with baseball, but that's an example. I see friends when I was growing up, they would all talk about sports, and like they would talk about, oh, this player in the NFL, and by the way, I was in sports as well, so for the record, I'm not against sports. I think they're great, but my interests were not to watch sports after school. It was more just doing my own thing, exploring, watching YouTube videos. I think that's a lot of what I did. Anyways, I don't want to distract too much from the point, but I would see them speaking about this player and that player and this game and that deal, and I just felt like I didn't belong. I felt like it was not for me, and I didn't find that interesting, and I felt like I didn't belong, but I also didn't want to go against that because then I would be the outlier. Same with this quote. People lean on things and ideas and those popular earthly social systems. What's the larger effect here? When we look at this more deeply, it may be one reason humanity is not as advanced as it could be. I mean, think about it. If you yourself, right now, are scared of innovating, are scared of even inventing something and selling it and do your business as you would like to, or you're scared to publish your book, or you're scared to change careers and pursue something different, or you're scared to be more creative, you're scared of creating content, you're yourself. If you experience this, now multiply that by the majority of the population, billions of people, right now. Now, add that and go back in time, 100 years, 200 years. How many of those people also felt the way we feel? That they had a smaller village. It was even tougher back then because we didn't have access to social media. We didn't have access to all these ideas and people encouraging you to upload content. We didn't have that. They didn't have that. They just had a village with a few dozen people, and only those fortunate ones in big cities could really be ahead of the entirety of the nation. They didn't have access to much, the ones that lived in little farms, and not that that's a bad life, but if we're talking about innovation, about thinking out of the box, they had it different and worse. And now multiply what we have today for people in the world, that, I mean, a rough estimate, if we're like close to 9 billion people, or at 9 billion people, let's say a good, and this is going super safe, a good half of it, so 4.5 billion people, and then multiply by how many decades before or centuries, and that can paint a picture of how much humanity could have advanced, could have made discoveries, could have made more progress, could have benefited more people, inspired more people, but they didn't. And this is exactly what I'm trying to say. This is the reason why humanity is not as advanced as it could be. Because this problem that we are facing right now in a modern society, where we feel afraid to be out of the box and to break that past that our parents put into us, now we multiply that by however many people and add all those hundreds of years before, and that's how impactful this is. We remain subconsciously tied to social norms, traditions, and familiar systems. There are good social norms, there are good family traditions, there are good core values. And let's appreciate those, and let's not discredit those. They are good, there are very good ones. There's principles that we have to follow that worked 100 years ago that will work 100 years from now. Being kind, if you're a man here, being a man, taking care of your family, taking care of your spouse, your kids, having that grit, not giving up. That, of course, is great. That, of course, is great. Old school social values that work. But not all of them are good. There's going to be some that are just totally put in the past. They're just kind of hold you back. They are revolving around, the toxic masculinity, you gotta smoke a 6-pack a day and rip some cigs in order to be a man. That's not what it's all about. And part of also being a man, in my personal experience, being a strong man, is being kind to others. Standing up for yourself when you have to, and standing up for others when you have to, not being afraid to look at someone in the eye and tell them what they need to hear, and accepting your mistakes as well. But more often than not, we just have to be kind. We have to be merciful. We have to be gentle and be the bigger person and show with example who we are as men, as grown-ups. There are people who break those patterns, think outside the box, and revolutionize the world, but they are the exception rather than the norm. Think about your Elon Musks. Think about, Sam Altman, OpenAI. Whether they're good people or bad people, just think about them from a innovator's perspective. They probably didn't fit in where they were surrounded. They were probably bullied. They were probably made fun of. But yet they pushed through. They didn't listen to the negative bagging that people had to give them. And that's what I mean by taking this quote and dissecting it to think outside of the box. Be brave enough to put yourself in front of a camera and speak in front of a camera. Brave enough to change careers, Despite what your neighbor might think, despite what your parents or your hometown might think, leave your hometown, to be honest. That's also thinking out of the box. I mean, you're going to have your family and they will want you to be there. They'll want you to, stay in town, work at whatever they have been working before. Your dad might get you in a certain job easier, and that's it. That's not your life. That's not it. You have to take risks. You have to be brave. You have to be comfortable with the unknown. The importance of awareness. The goal is not to pretend that every social behavior is bad. The goal is to become aware of how much our environment influences us. Okay, so we have to go from a third point of view and be like, okay, I act this way, I consume this much content, I buy these type of clothes, I buy these type of phones, I want these type of things. Why? Because of me? Or because I want to impress somebody? Or because society tells me to? Do I want to follow my own path? It's tough. You might not be able to impress many people like that initially until they see who you are, genuinely your own person. They admire that. Once we recognize these patterns, we can catch ourselves before automatically repeating them. I do that to myself sometimes, and I'll dive deeper on this in a minute. But you have to doubt your own actions. You have to put your own actions to scrutiny. You have to put them under review. When you spot your patterns, that's when real change begins. That's when you will change, because you will recognize that you might be wrong in what you were doing previously. And it's supernatural. Us as humans, we think our convictions are our convictions. We think we're true to what we do. We think we have a cause, and we think our cause is righteous. But in reality, a few times we're wrong. Now, we follow our heart, we will be fine. But there's a few times where you'll be wrong. You'll spot yourself and do that pattern recognition. Spot your own patterns and watch yourself how much you change. So this is my personal approach. I try not to immediately trust every action that I make. I ask myself whether the reaction truly represents what I believe, or whether it becomes from conditioning, or whether the action comes from conditioning, fear, habit, or social expectations. All of those gone. You have to recognize that if you do it from conditioning, you're just being subconscious and you're just an autopilot. If you do it from fear, that's also a wrong place to be in. And you have to work on it. You have to see, why am I fearing this? Is this worth fearing? Why am I acting this way? Because I'm fearful of what X person's gonna say? They don't even think about you most of the time. They're too busy with themselves and thinking what other people think about them. Do you do it out of habit? Again, that's subconscious. You have to be intentional with your actions. Or because of social expectations. Is that what my parents want? Is that what my church wants? What my school wants? Some reactions are genuine and beneficial. Others are subconscious behaviors I have repeated simply because they are familiar. I can only recognize the difference when I slow down and become introspective. So whenever you're acting, just know that action, let's say you get irritated with your partner, with your spouse, with your girlfriend. You get irritated, and it might be a valid excuse for you, or it might have even been a fight. It might just be you felt a little triggered, and that is, you probably won't have the time to sit down and start reflecting on it right in the moment, but you have to reckon, okay, that action, I'm gonna put it in my pocket, and I'm gonna review it. I'm gonna sit down later on, and I'm gonna review it. I'm gonna see if this is what I feel, if this is what I truly believe in, if this is the man that I am, or if I'm just acting because that's how my father treated me, or if I'm acting because that's how I saw my friends treat their girlfriends. That's what I mean. You act, and then you might not know the answer right then and there, but you put it under review. And then you go and review it. And then you go analyze and put some thought into your actions and make adjustments according to it. It's worthless if you review your own actions, but then you just leave it as is. You have to take action on it. You have to commit and accept, well, this action is not ideal. I'm going to change it. I'm going to do something different now. I'm going to be a better man. Once we understand where those behaviors come from, we can stop operating automatically. We can then become more intentional about how we think, how we react, and how we choose to become. Quote number 3, don't lean on things, ideas, and earthly social systems unless they're good and you give them a thought. But think twice about your actions. Put your actions under review. Work on your pattern recognition. If you start working on recognizing patterns, you break them. That's where you will see the change. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Javier. I've been doing philosophical quotes for 10 years, and I'm happy to share them. Thank you for being here. I'm rooting for you. I upload every week on a Saturday or a Sunday, so you have the quote, so you have the content to learn and to listen to throughout the week. Thank you. See you next time.